Hey guys, I guess the thing is working. Yeah. So I thought of just going over the various types of apps that I use, and not only the ones that I use, or also the ones that I have installed, on my system. So firstly, as you can see, I am using BSPWM, the window manager, and this is ST, the simple terminal, and this is just like the greetings thing. I have done the neo fetch and just a simple message, text message. So um, I have made a txt file where I have listed all of the apps that I use. So yeah, so for the my desktop I use base pwm mostly, and I also use dwm because I like C language, so I know how to use it. Sometimes I use this for instant access because sometimes base PWM just takes a bit of time, because not only that, because I also have some scripts running on over here in the auto start, but for DWM it's like super fresh, like it just boots up in within a second. It doesn't even take a second. Anyways, and sometimes I use Plasma desktop environment, so I can just write it over here, Plasma D for screen sharing or video editing, and I have a bunch of other installed as well, such as Qtile and that one Xmonad, but I don't really like them, to be honest, that much. These are the ones that I use generally, right? And for the browser I have Chromium. I use Chromium mostly, and over here you can see okay, so I was searching for hoodies. Anyways, so this was my Chromium, and this is a theme, anime theme. As I add new tabs, see, like this will just change. This is for the Death Note, the web series, the anime, not web series, sorry. um, and that's it. So I also have Firefox, which I used to use Firefox before, but recently I've just switched to Chromium and I have been like using this a lot. I used to have Brave really helps me in you know um, and blocking ads and certain kind of websites. I don't really have an issue with ads because I know creators earn money by that, but some websites which just have too much ads, and you know what I mean. So yeah, and I also have Qt browser, which I use like if I need instant access. So let's say I want to access a website right now, right fucking now. I don't have any time, so what I will do is I will just go and open up my Qt browser, and this just takes a bit of a second, and this is completely in the Vim key bindings, and I just search blah 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 and search, and that's it. I'm just over there. I can just come back with Shift H, I can go there. Anyways, so I can just write here Vim like key bindings. And then for terminal I use ST. This is ST simple terminal from Suckless, and that's the one that I mostly use because it has some world-class font rendering, font and Alacrity I use sometimes. I used to use this before prior to ST. Termite I don't really use. XFC I don't really use. I just have them installed, and yeah, I also have the console installed, but it's part of the that Plasma package, so I don't really use like in this three. I just use ST and Alacrity. Sometimes I do use XFC for the drop down thing, and so yeah. And anyways, for the editors I use Vim. I am a Vim guy, like a hardcore Vim guy. I use both Vim and NeoVim. I have both Vim and NeoVim installed, but the one that I use is NeoVim, as you can say by now. And I also have Sublime Text because sometimes it's just helpful. And I have GVim, which I don't really use. Neither do I use Kate, neither do I use Notepad or Emacs. I don't really get the key bindings. I never really tried to learn Emacs, but anyways, it's just there. For the IDE, I have Visual Studio Code, and I also had PyCharm back some time ago, but I don't really have it now. And for file managers I use Thinner mostly. So Thunar is the file manager that you will see me using mostly. So this is Thunar, and I also have Dolphin. Dolphin is good. It's from KDE, but it just has a lot of stuff going around which I don't really like, because when I'm using a file manager, all I want is to access my files right now, right fucking now. So yeah, and I also have Nautilus. Like I just had them, but I don't really use them most. I mostly use Thunar. And for terminal file ranger, I use MC and Ranger. I use Ranger the most. So you can see over here, if I go to Ranger, I can just go to various types of here. This is like really good. So yeah, this has this good preview thing. Anyways, then coming to the Office suite, I have LibreOffice. So if I just show this to you, I have the LibreOffice. I can just show this to you over here. This is gonna take a bit of time because this is from a fresh start. I'm in a fresh boot. So yeah, I used to write stuff sometimes, but I don't really use that much. So anyways, this was thing, blah blah blah, nothing interesting much. For video editors, I use Kdenlive. There's nothing really against that. No one really compares to that. For image viewing and editing, I have GIMP, which is like the equivalent of Photoshop, and I also have GwenView, which is from KDE, and I use that for viewing pictures. And Inkspace I have for vector art type of thing. I was really interested in them some time ago, but now I don't really use it much. Anyways, so for media player, I use MPV. I'm like a big fan of MPV. I will always use all of my music, all of my videos. I'll just use them with MPV because MPV is super fast. It just does the work in a fraction of a second. I have VLC, but I don't really use VLC much, other than if it's like something with a dual track and something like that. And for music, I have Spotify. Yeah, I do use Spotify. And for PDF, I use Ocular from KDE. It's really good too, in my opinion. For screen recording, right now I'm recording this in OBS, but I also have simple screen recorder, and I use that mostly for my recording stuff. But when I have to do face type of things like this, then I use OBS. For social media, I have WhatsApp installed, so WhatsApp, and then I also have Signal, and I have Telegram and Discord as well. For productivity, I have Joplin. Joplin I use for taking down notes. There is a command line based, and there is a desktop. I like the command line one. So yeah, and I also have TeamViewer, which I use for like sharing my desktop. And the other apps that I have are Zoom, Steam. I just tried if like my system works properly with Steam, but I don't use this. I don't really game that much. And VirtualBox, I use it sometimes, maybe like to try out some of the ISOs or some of the other stuff. And Zoom, this is for like meetings and stuff like that. So yeah, that's generally all there is to this my setup. Right now this is BSPWM, and this is a panel going around. There are a bunch of scripts. This is right now recording this in OBS, if you can see. And over here, this is the Chromium. That was ST. This was my XFCE terminal, and these are the workspaces various. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you.